What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and today we're going to be doing one of my absolute favorite videos that we do here on this channel, and that is where we look at the data that TCGPlayer has provided us, and they identify the cards that have been buying and selling with the highest degree of velocity on their website for the previous month. Now, don't confuse that with the other video series we do, which will be coming out later in the week or next week, where we look at the cards that have gained the most in value on the TCGPlayer website over the last month. This one, as far as I'm concerned, is incredibly more important than the other one. The other one's a ton of fun and it gives us a great finger on the pulse of what direction the market's heading in. But when you think about cards that are buying and selling with the highest degree of velocity on TCGPlayer's website, obviously these are the most in-demand cards. And because we've been doing this video series for over 3 years at this point, we have been able to identify that cards that are on this list multiple times throughout the course of a year, specifically 3 or more times throughout the course of the year, they have a tendency to outperform its peers by magnitudes in terms of price appreciation over time. Now, to you and me, because we're all buttoned up in this Pokemon collecting and investing space, that makes sense because we all understand the only thing that drives the price of Pokemon cards are you and me and other collectors out there who open up our wallets, and that is what's shown on this video. So no matter what the market is doing, whether the market is flying sky high and prices are going up, or whether the market is dropping and prices are coming down, the key thing to take away from this video is that these are the cards that are in the most demand. Now, throughout the course of this video, I'm going to use some different signals and identifiers to help you and I understand these cards and how they performed not only today, but also over the course of 2025. So we've got some things here, and you'll see these yellow stars, right? So the yellow stars on a slide will represent how many consecutive months a card has been on this list. That is incredibly important because on the list this month, we're going to see some cards that have been on here for longer than pretty much any other cards we've ever seen. So there's going to be a lot of new, a lot of great takeaways from this. You're also going to see this 3+ hero designation because, as I just told you, cards that have been on here 3 or more times throughout the course of a calendar month, they outperform their peers significantly. So I want to call them out to you so you can keep an eye on them. And the other thing is, obviously, we're going to talk about the singles card price, but we're also going to look at the booster box prices as well, or if it comes from a specialty set, the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box set, because I think that's very, very important to tie in how the sealed product and how the single card price is moving as well. And the only other thing before we get into this is these are all cards which started off at a price point of $50 or more. Nothing wrong with cheaper cards, but for this video series, we're kind of looking at the higher end stuff. So this is a ton of fun. And as you will see, we put a ton of work into this throughout the course of the year. As I said, we've been doing it for 3 years. We've done back testing, like lots of efforts go into this. So if you get into it, if you find it helpful, if you're enjoying yourself along the way, hit the subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a really long way in helping my small channel out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So whenever we do this list, I always start off with talking about what cards have fallen off from the previous month, because I think that's very, very important. So the thing we're going to start off with right here is there are some cards that kind of make sense to me, okay? So you have the Marshadow card, which was on here last month, and even when I did this video, when I was talking about the card, I was like, this doesn't make sense. I don't think it's going to last, right? We've done this video series for a long time. Short-term demand didn't equal long-term demand, and it fell off their list. Then you have got the Kingdra promo card right there. Very cool card, very cool artwork. Not necessarily surprised to see it fall off this list. Then you have the Ancient Mew promo card there, okay? So it was on this list 2 months in a row. I was actually concerned. I'm like, man, I hope it's not on here 3 months in a row because I'll have to give it that 3+ hero designation. It just didn't really fit the vibe with what I've seen in the past for that, but fell off this list, so we don't have to worry about it making that 3+ hero mark. However, the Misty's Psyduck fell off, and last month was the first month it had been on here 3 times over the course of the year, so it did get that 3+ hero designation, and I think this is a fantastic example of a card which might be under a little bit of pressure right now, but in the long run, when I'm talking 3-5 years down the road, we absolutely know the artwork is amazing. We know Destined Rivals is a fantastic set. Misty is one of the most popular trainers out there. Psyduck is nothing to shake a fist at. Like, this card, I think, is going to do phenomenal further down the road. So even though it's off this list this month, remember, it is a 3+ hero, so don't sleep on it. I think it's got some great long-term potential. Now, very first card that's on this list, and actually making its first appearance ever as a 3+ hero, is the Alakazam card from 151, and something original for this list, and that has actually been kind of materializing throughout the course of 2025, is it is not uncommon to see single cards which are in demand throughout the course of the year show up a bunch on this video, but we're going to see 151 featured more than any other set we've ever seen for a longer duration, and we all know 151 is special, but as I look at some of these single single card prices for the ones that are on this list, they just feel really approachable considering how in demand this set is. Remember, it is over 2 years old, right? September marked its 2-year anniversary. Here we are getting towards the middle of November. So this thing is just really, really starting to get in the rearview mirror. Yet even despite that, you're going to see tons of 151 cards on here, which again, just bolsters my confidence in the long-term opportunity for it. So the Alakazam has been on here 2 consecutive months. It was featured once early in the year as well. And as you can see, the price is actually coming down. It got all the way up to about $60 at one point. It's all the way down to $43. For me, this could represent a buying opportunity. I'm going to wait for the price to flatten out just a little bit. But if you're in the market for this card, might be an interesting time to jump in on it. And look at the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer Box price there on the left. It is leveled out, but leveled out at $950. We got a lot of 151 cards, so I'm not going to talk too much about it now, but just incredible to see what this card is doing and what that Pokemon Center exclusive ETB has done ever since it came out. Next card on the list, the Charizard from Obsidian Flames. And again, when I think about the consistency, look at this. This card has been on this list 7 months in a row. Now think about that. That means this has been a top 10 card in terms of buying and selling volume at TCGPlayer.com, one of the biggest marketplaces for buying and selling Pokemon cards in the world. And this one has been a top 10 card for the last 7 months. It is absolutely incredible, no matter what the price is doing. Obviously, we saw it get irrationally high. This card, you can see it spiked all the way up to like $125 at one point. That made no sense, but now it's really free falling. It's all the way down to $76. For me, I'm going to kind of wait and see when this thing starts to level off. I already have 2 of them in the collection. I was very fortunate. I actually have 2 PSA 10s, so I'm not going to be going out there and buying it. But as I think about putting content together for you all in the future, you know I like support lines. So if this card starts to flatten out and find a support line, obviously the demand is here for this card. So again, when I'm thinking years down the road, the demand will still be there. It's Charizard. The artwork is awesome. It's already proven that the market can drive it up to $130. So I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on this card. And the interesting thing too is if you look to the left, Obsidian Flames booster boxes are starting to come down in price just a little bit. They were all the way up near $340. I didn't think that made a ton of sense. I compared that $340 price point to some of the other awesome sealed products out there. And you know, Obsidian Flames, as great as this card may be, it's not a super deep set. So not surprised to see it come down just a little bit at $300. Next card on the list, surprise, surprise, we're talking about 151 again, and I'm going to be honest with you, out of all of the 151 cards on this list, you know this is my absolute favorite buy out of all of them, coming in just shy of $78, sitting at $77 right now. This thing has always had a really hard ceiling at $100. I continue to say that I believe in the long run, there are going to be multiple cards in the 151 set over the $100 price point. Right now you have the Charizard, but outside of that, none of the other ones are over $100 right now. This card right here feels like it's going to make the jump, feels like it's going to get there. It's taken much longer than I would have expected. But again, look at this, 7 consecutive months. This card has been one of the top 10 in terms of buying and selling volume on TCG Player. You have Blastoise here. It's a special illustration. And I understand like the pull rates in 151 was very, very favorable. However, the gem rates were incredibly bad. So a lot of times what that means is that these PSA 10 prices are going to be extraordinarily high, right? Which a lot of times when you have a high PSA 10 price, it helps raise the price of these raw cards too, because people are out there chasing and hoping that they're going to get that one kind of diamond in a rough and be able to pull a PSA 10 out of it. So we'll see what happens. But again, love this card in the $70 price range. In a time, I think this card is going to do phenomenal. Next one on the list, I love Lily cards. They are fantastic. There are very few trainers that I actually go out there and actively buy. I like Misty, I like Lily, I think Cynthia's awesome, right? I like Marnie, you know, those are kind of like the ones when I see them out there, I think those are really awesome trainers. This Lily's Determination, not surprised it's coming down because again, Mega Evolution is a brand new set. But again, that goes to show you that even when the prices are declining, this card is still selling with a high degree of velocity, which is why TCG Player called it out on this list as one of the top 10 cards in terms of buying and selling volume. And for me, that is very, very exciting. That is nothing but a positive signal for this further down the road. I love the fact that it is just Lily featured on this card. I love the fact she's got the little Pokeball bag with her. I think this card is going to do phenomenal. Not pulling the trigger now. I'm going to wait a little while and see where it starts to, again, hit those support lines that we talk about on this channel a whole lot. But again, look at Mega Evolution booster boxes at $250. We did a deep dive video the other day where we looked at how a lot of these big name booster boxes, they come out, they're in the $300, $315 range, even a little bit north of that. But for whatever reason, they tend to work their way down, settle in the $250 range, and then tend to go back up over time. So We'll see if that's what happens with Mega Evolution, but we've seen that with a lot of the other big sets too. Next card we're talking about here, again, this one is actually more expensive than the Blastoise, and I get it. There's Team Venusaur, there's Team Blastoise, I totally get it, but man, I love this card. I don't love it as much as I love that Blastoise, but you can't argue with the results. Again, 7 consecutive months of being on this list. 151 is an absolute monster. This one's about $5 higher than the Blastoise we looked at just a minute ago, coming in at $83.47. And honestly, in the long run, I think you're going to have a bunch of these cards which are really clumped up, right? The Charizard's going to be the big winner. That's going to be your highest value card. Then I think you're going to have the Zapdos, you're going to have the Venusaur, you're going to have the Blastoise, right? You know, who knows what else we're going to see, but at least those 3 cards will kind of rotate as far as I'm concerned in the 2, 3, 4 slot over time. But I do think those 3 cards will organically all kind of lift each other up. And again, lots of bright spots, lots of opportunity, lots of exciting times, a high for 151. Next one we're talking about, sticking with this card, but listen, it's the first time Mr. Charmander has actually been on the list, which was hard for me to believe. I went back and looked at every single deck that I've done for this video series throughout the entirety of 2025, and Charmander has never been on it, which just goes to show you like the popularity in 151 is ever expanding. Matter of fact, we saw Alakazam just made its 3rd appearance, right? We've seen the Zapdos card on here a couple different times. Now we have the Charmander card on here. We've talked about the Charizard, which has been on here before, the Blastoise, the Venusaur. We're talking about 6 or 7 different 151 cards, which have been featured on this video series throughout the course of the year, representing cards that are in the highest demand on TCGPlayer. It's just phenomenal to see one set display that type of dominance over such a long period of time. Now, this card right here, holding its value a little more, right? We saw some of the other cards that were starting to work their way down, but this one also didn't see as big of a price spike. So the growth has been a little more steady Eddie, right? A little more organic, still coming in at a very healthy $56. So certainly not a cheap card by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very exciting to see this on here. And I think the artwork is absolutely phenomenal for this. Next one that we're going to talk about, speaking of phenomenal artwork, I love this Greninja. I love the wood grain artwork. I love the promo card. Like this card is just absolutely special. It's starting to come down a little bit in price, right? It wasn't up too much higher. It was all the way up at $65, working its way down to 53 and change. So we'll have to see where it starts to settle. But again, if the broader market starts to soften, if a lot of these awesome cards start to come down in price for me, I don't panic, I don't worry, but it gives me an opportunity to get some cards that maybe I don't have in the personal collection, which, matter of fact, as much as I love this card, I don't have one of these. So if the price starts to come down and then it starts to hit that support line, I think it'd be a phenomenal card to pick this up, because in the long run, I think this card is going to absolutely crush it. The artwork is unique. The artwork is amazing. Greninja is a big name Pokemon. Like everything you could possibly want is incorporated in this card. So very, very excited to see the price softening, and I hope it falls just a little bit further. Next one on the list, going from everything that's right in the hobby to representing some of the irrationalities that do happen from time to time. You know, you have the Solosis card here, which in all honesty, the only reason this card got any type of price spike was because the artist who drew this card is the exact same one who drew the Bubble Mew. And I get it. You know, we have seen artists who have drawn some incredible cards, right? The same artist drew the Giratina from Lost Origin, that also drew the Magikarp, right? And also drew kind of why we see the Seismitoad, because it's the same artist that drew all 3 of them. I think that some people were believing that we might be entering a new trend where artists can, you know, for whatever reason, organically grow, you know, a Pokemon card's value just because they're the ones who drew it. For me, this card doesn't check the box. Now, if you love the Pokemon, buy the card. If you're trying to complete the set, buy the card. If you think this is epic artwork, absolutely buy the card. If it makes you happy, buy the freaking card. I don't care. However, for me, somebody who likes to purchase cards that I think have the opportunity, you know, to increase in value over the long run, this is one that I'm personally avoiding, but it doesn't matter what I think. Obviously, the market has spoken because it's here on the list. Tons of people out there buying this card, so I hope it's making a ton of people happy, because really, that's all I care about. Next thing on the list is another promo card. Now, this one is from one of my favorite sealed products of all time, and if you weren't around and collecting back then, this is from, you know, the Sword and Shield Ultra Premium Collection, featured Charizard. It had 3 unique Charizard promos in it. You had all kinds of awesome Sword and Shield era packs. There was Evolving Skies in it. This was one of these super, super hyped sealed products that came came out, and then they printed it into the ground, and you could buy these boxes for like $80, $90 a pop. I swear, for it was like a 6 or 8 month period. It was absolutely wild. And everybody who was around back then that was in this kind of space was thinking about long-term price appreciation. Everybody was like, this is going to be a slam dunk long-term buy and hold. The returns didn't come quickly, but they're certainly coming now, because the sealed product is all the way up over $400. Most of these promo cards are in the $40, $50 range right now. Again, this one's working its way down just a little bit. It was all the way up near the $80 mark, and now it's down to $52. I really believe that these promo cards have a great opportunity in the long run to be up in the $100 range. This one in particular, you got Charizard, which is battling the Mewtwo, right? The Mewtwo partner card to this comes from Crown Zenith, one of my favorite cards. I actually have this in a PSA 10, and I have that Mewtwo in a PSA 10, and I have them in a stand where they're kind of looking at each other, battling it out. Like, just a really, really cool card. Amazing artwork from an incredible sealed product. So again, prices are coming down. If you don't have it, it might be reaching an opportunity where it's worth taking a look at, but just a really, really cool card with a really cool story behind that Ultra Premium Collection box. Speaking of Ultra Premium Collection boxes, here we are. We got the one from 151, the promo card, the Mew EX here. It has finally reached 3+ hero status. It has been the #1 card in terms of buying and selling volume at TCGPlayer for the last 3 months. I don't know what I can say that I haven't already said about this. I am happy to see it coming down. This thing got really, really hot, really, really fast, right? This thing was all the way up at almost $60, and then, or excuse me, almost $75. It's been working its way back down, but again, when you think about what that sealed product is gonna do over the course of time, it just goes to show you that, listen, the sealed product, that super premium collection box, I think that one's called super premium, not ultra premium, but no matter what, that super premium collection box from 151, you got Mew, you got some great promo cards in there, you have a ton of 151 packs. We have seen throughout the course of this whole video how many different Pokemon cards from that set have been featured on this, which means the demand for that set is sky high. I don't see it going anywhere. I think it's going to be great in the long run. Very, very excited to see what 151 does in the future. So now that's it. Those are the 10 cards that, according to TCGPlayer, were buying and selling with the highest degree of velocity on their website. I think this is an important video for all of us to pay attention to, and I think this information is incredibly insightful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun, and if you did, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those 2 small things go a long way in helping me out. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I hope you guys have an epic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later, everybody. Bye.